All right, we're going to hit points 5 and 6 here. They're kind of related. So, the first thing I want to talk about is this. Um, as this course goes on, you're going to hear me become obsessed with production and how much we can produce and how can we produce more. And you might sit there and go, like, is he all right? Okay, why is he obsessed with how much we can produce? Well, I want you to think about things like this. So let's say, I'm supreme dictator of the land of McClungia, and I decide I want everyone in my society, in the land of McClungia, to have a really nice car. Well, maybe I just say, okay, well, I will just fill everyone's mailbox with, millions of McClung bucks. And okay, now everyone can afford a new car. But here's the thing, I didn't create any cars. I mean, they have these little pieces of paper, but there's no cars. Um, the cars, there's still scarce resources that you need for those. Rubber for the tires and aluminum and the labor to put them together and all of these things that you need to make a car. All of these resources are still scarce. The only way for us to have more cars is to make more cars. So that's where this statement comes from right here. A standard society of living is related to its level of production. If we make more stuff, if we produce more stuff, we can consume more stuff. And I understand that standard of living is not completely tied up in, what we can consume. But as far as material standard of living, being able to produce more is going to be able to create a higher material standard of living. Now, there's other issues related there. We'll talk about trade later. You can actually consume things that you don't produce. But even then, how much you're able to produce is going to be tied into how much you can consume. So one way to increase society's standard of living is to increase production. So this is going to be an obsession throughout this semester is how can we produce more so that we're able to consume more? And the second part is related to this is people want goods and services, not money. A phrase you'll hear me repeat throughout this semester is money is toilet paper. Money in itself is not valuable. You can ride on it, you can make a paper airplane out of it, but really what money is, it's a proxy for scarcity. It's basically saying it's an IOU for some scarce resources. And that's why when it's no longer scarce, it doesn't have the value that it had. It's only valuable in that it can get you goods and services. Because people don't want money. They want what you can get with money. So again, if I did that scheme where I shoved $1 billion in everyone's mailbox, I want you to think about what you would do if you woke up and you had $1 billion in your mailbox. You go, okay, guess I'm going to head to the car lot. Okay, buy a nice car. But what you would find is that there would be a lot of people at that car lot, all with $1 billion in their hands. And the owner of the car lot now has $1 billion in their hands too. So they have lots of money. What they don't have a lot of is cars. So it's all about those scarce resources again. So the value doesn't come with the money, the value comes with the goods and services that you can get with that money. Now, along those same lines, whenever economists are dealing with economic variables, there's two big types of variables that we deal with. One is nominal variables, okay, this guy right here. And these are going to be measured in dollars or euros or I was going to say francs. Those aren't really around anymore. Um, and then there's real variables that is adjusted for inflation. So it measures things um, in some sort of way where even if inflation happens, that is adjusted for. And those are the variables that we really care about. The problem with real variables is they're harder to measure because, you know, if you ask me how much money I make, I can tell you the numbers on my check. Those would be nominal variables. Okay, it's measured in current dollars. Um, but I also know that the spending power of that has changed. Um, and to measure what the true spending power is, I have to know what price levels are. I have to be able to measure inflation. So that's going to be a big deal later on in this class is to measure overall price levels so that we can kind of deflate some of these numbers that have been inflated by inflation, okay, by increasing prices. So economists are really going to want to dig into the values of these real variables rather than these nominal variables. We'll talk about that more later.